So when we now were granted independence to join them, there was supposed to be an agreement, a treaty of union, now ratified by both sides, signed as a treaty, then deposited at the United Nations. That was not done.
We don't hear Amazonians, they talk a lot about these two words, union treaty. Okay? Or they call them Treaty of Union. We don't hear Anglophones and Amazonians, they talk about this a lot. Now, the question is, was there actually a union treaty or a treaty of union between the Cameroon government and the former Southern Cameroons? The answer is simple. Yes, there was. That is the answer. And I will show you now the union treaty today. There was a union treaty between the former Southern Cameroons and La République du Cameroun. So whenever when I hear Anglophones or these people, the way they call themselves Amazonians, they talk about the so-called Union Treaty or say they be supposed to sign Union Treaty and then deposit them at the United Nations Secretariat. Remember, say these people, they be willfully ignorant. Which one me and Mina say, the information they out there, any person where get smartphone, where it get internet connection, you fit get this information because the United Nations, their website, it get all of these things for day. Now, who said they take that notion, say they begin to sign a union treaty and then deposit them at the United Nations. Now from Article 102 of the United Nations Charter. So if you go for your Google, just type Article 102 United Nations Charter and it will bring you the very first link. Make sure say you check and send out the authentic link of the United Nations. It's talking for the UN.org, okay? Now, if you access that link, it load, you see make a zoom in for una, make you see make you read them together, okay? Now in that, now Article 102 of the United Nations Charter, that it be very simple and it goes straight to the point. It talks that every treaty and every international agreement entered by any member of the United Nations after the present charter comes into force shall, as soon as possible, be registered with the Secretariat and published by it. What we mean I say, every treaty and international agreement where member states of the United Nations they enter, they should register that treaty or the international agreement with the Secretariat of the United Nations, and the Secretariat of the United Nations it go publish that agreement or that treaty because it been a public information. This one it be more important because of paragraph 2 of the United Nations Charter. And now paragraph 2 this. For yeah, man read that for now. It say no party to any such treaty or international agreement which has not been registered in accordance with the provisions of paragraph 1 of this article may invoke that treaty or agreement before any organ of the United Nations. Which way the talk now say? If you enter into any international agreement or any treaty with another member state of the United Nations, and then suddenly you get a dispute and you want the United Nations for intervene. For example, the International Criminal Court or the International Military or whatever any other international organizations where you've been a part of the organs of the United Nations. If you know if you don't register that treaty with the United Nations Secretariat, then you know if you then present that treaty as evidence for your case. Because the United Nations don't get time for study them and they no go accept them as evidence for any dispute or any case where you bring them. So you know if you invoke that agreement or that treaty in the future with any organ of the United Nations. That's why the United Nations is stipulate say under Article 102 say all member states then when they enter into any agreement or any treaty with another member state, they should file that agreement or that treaty with the Secretariat of the United Nations. That is why that provision it be in place. So that in the future, if you use them in front or if you invoke them in front of the United Nations or the United Nations organs as evidence saying now agreement, this one will be getting before. For example, if one party it breached the terms and conditions of that agreement. Now the article this way, Anglophones and the people the way they call themselves say Amazonians, they always call them, they always refer to when they talk about union treaty. Today, I go break them down for una. I go make una understand. So the first thing we wanna get for understand and say, you get to be a member of the United Nations and you get a treaty or international agreement for this Article 102 for apply to you. So the first question is, when has the Southern Cameroons ever entered into any treaty or any international agreement with anyone? It never ever happened because that territory has never been a sovereign territory. And I go explain more. Secondly, when has the former Southern Cameroons ever been a member of the United Nations? The answer is never. They never ever get a seat at the United Nations, and they never ever ever be a member of the United Nations. So, Article 102, Paragraph 1 or Paragraph 2 does not apply to the former Southern Cameroons because that territory has never been sovereign, and that territory, it never ever ever get a seat at the United Nations. It does not apply to them.
This particular video where country people do am. Now God sending me to the video. You listen to the video. This video it tell you a lot of things. We thank my country people for this wonderful job. Now, we'll go ahead.
So I don't already explain for when I say actually the answer is yes. There was a union treaty between the former Southern Cameroons and La République du Cameroun. So how is it possible? Say the former Southern Cameroons be enter a union treaty with Cameroon if the Southern Cameroons itself was not sovereign. That is the question. If the Southern Cameroons itself was not a member of the United Nations, now who be hold the sovereignty of the former Southern Cameroons? Because now the sovereign state it will be a member of the United Nations. Now who will hold the sovereignty of the former Southern Cameroons, where if forfeit enter into international agreement on behalf of the former Southern Cameroons? The answer is simple. Now Britain. That is the answer. Simple. So the British, they beget sovereign power over the former Southern Cameroons. And La République du Cameroun, it been a sovereign nation as well. It been a member of the United Nations. So any agreement or international treaty where Britain and La République du Cameroun they enter, it must be deposited at the Secretariat of the United Nations in accordance with Article 102. It is as simple as that. That's where my investigation led me next. Because there was actually a union treaty. Now, which way you need to do another simple exercise for Google. So, if you go for your Google device or your Android or you use now Apple, you go for Google or any search or web browser or any search engine, you just type exchange of notes, Yaoundé, Britain. Now, for me, the first link where it come up, now a link where it be provided by the United Kingdom Parliament. Okay? Now the UK Parliament, it publishes letter. It's a FCDO, treaties, exchange of notes between the government of the United Kingdom and the Cameroon, agreeing that Southern Cameroon should become part of Cameroon. Simple. Select that link and it will load the page. Now the page that way it load. This one, now website where it belongs to the British Parliament, the United Kingdom, the Parliament for London. Okay, it talks about it. Exchange of notes. Remember, in international law and international diplomacy, an exchange of notes is considered as an international agreement. Okay, where it means say you go write a letter spelling out something like the terms and conditions of something, send them, and the person reply back to that letter. It's called an exchange of notes, and that is legally recognized on the international scene in international law as an agreement. It's a legal document known as an international agreement. Okay, so now the British government did talk say exchange of notes between the government of the United Kingdom and the Cameroon, agreeing that Southern Cameroon should become part of Cameroon. Now, scroll up a little bit or scroll down, whichever one, you go read them. They tell you the agreement was signed in Yaoundé on the 27th of September 1961, and it came in force or went into force on the 1st of October 1961. The actual treaty document It's no day for this website. Okay? The parties to the treaty, they tell una for day. Now the parties to the treaty this Cameroon and the United Kingdom. 2 parties. So, like I talked, the United Kingdom, when they get the sovereign power over the former Southern Cameroons, they enter into a treaty of union with Yaoundé. But this is not enough. What I go do now, say I go actually show una, because I continue my investigation for actually bring una the actual treaty of union document. Make una see them. The actual document itself, because according to Article 102 of the United Nations Charter, they talk say any international agreement or treaty where member states they get them, it should be filed at the Secretariat of the United Nations. And the next port of call now for me for go to the Secretariat of the United Nations for their website for go find that treaty. That treaty where I don't gather this information, say the treaty. And the treaty, it be signed on the 27th of September 1961, and it will go into force on the 1st of October 1961. It will be signed for Yaoundé. Okay, so now the next thing I say, we'll go find that treaty. So as part of my research, I've been need for find out the actual union treaty, the actual document itself, where it will be signed for Yaoundé. 27th of September 1961, where the British, they do exchange of notes. So in order for do that, I've been need for go for United Nations digital library, because these documents they don't be digitalized and they don't be published online. Any person if it access these documents them, and I encourage you for go for the website. Now the web address this where are the highlight and for una digitallibrary.un.org, and then if you go for there, it will bring this document. Click on this search bar, just enter Southern Cameroons like how I enter for here, click search. It will bring una all of these documents and where you fit then examine them for yourselves, all of these documents them. So one of the documents them where I get them now the actual union treaty, the exchange of letters or the exchange of notes between the British government and President Amadou Ahidjoe government, when an official internationally recognized international agreement. I will bring the document for una look them, and then we will read them through.
Lesson number 1. Lesson number 1. This video where country people do am. Now God sending me do the video. When I always say, oh, I want to, country people. Lesson number 1, my country people talk about it. Listen, whether or not you accept, my country people is a force to reckon with. Me, I agree. You listen to the video, it tells a lot of things. Kunkumaster or the kind of way it work with the Cameroon government. It don't confirm them for this video. We thank my country people for the wonderful job. Now, we'll go ahead.
Now the document is the actual union treaty. Now in this, filed at the United Nations, they received this document on the 2nd of March, 1962. Both in English and French, the original version, they in English and French. This particular one, when I download them, that the English version, but it they in English and French. Now, I can't read them for now, but before I read them for now 6 pages, the document be. I don't already show now the link also for go for access this document. So any person will want for read them, they want the original authentic copy, you know how to access them. Now, we will read the document them slowly, make you understand, because this is the actual union treaty. The document starts. It says, the future of the trust territory of the Cameroons under United Kingdom administration. Remember, they said the Cameroons with an S because they're talking about the northern Cameroons and the southern Cameroons. Before you continue for understand this document, remember, say, the trusteeship agreement between the United Nations and the United Kingdom, it been now for the Cameroons. So that agreement, not be just for the southern Cameroons, but now both the southern and the northern Cameroons. It be very important to understand that point. Now, It says, note verbal dated 27th of February 1962 from the permanent representative of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland to the United Nations, addressed to the Secretary General. Remember, the talk say Article 102 stipulates say any international agreement has to be filed at the Secretariat. When they talk say the United Nations Secretariat, they're talking about the Secretary General. Okay, we'll take them small. Now, it says, the permanent representative of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland to the United Nations presents his compliments to the Secretary General of the United Nations and, on the instructions of Her Majesty's Principal Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs, has the honor to inform him that, in accordance with General Assembly Resolution 1608 of 21st of April 1961, the trusteeship exercised in the Southern Cameroons by the government of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland under the trusteeship agreement of 13 December 1946 terminated at midnight on 30th September 1961. Now the British, they talk today, so that trusteeship agreement was terminated on midnight 30th of September 1961. Remember, say, at that time when they terminate the trusteeship agreement, no person, no complain. The British, they no complain. Cameroon government, no complain. Southern Cameroons, no complain. They accept, say the decolonization has been achieved, everything be smooth, everything be okay. John Gofoncha now, he don't take position as the Prime Minister of West Cameroon and also as the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Cameroon. John Gofoncha will get two positions, and I waited that will be the fight for. He get them. So, the letter continue. It say, a copy of the exchange of notes. Read them again slowly. Me una see them. A copy of the exchange of notes between Her Majesty's ambassador at Yaoundé and the President of the Cameroon Republic, recording the time and the date of the termination of the United Kingdom trusteeship in the Southern Cameroons, is attached. So, attached to this document, now the exchange of notes, and I go come to that, I go read them for una. We'll take them small. So, in accordance with the above resolution of the General Assembly, the trusteeship exercised in the Northern Cameroons by the government of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland terminated on the 1st of June 1961 upon the Northern Cameroons joining the Federation of Nigeria as a separate province of the northern region of Nigeria. Remember, I be telling when I say Resolution 1608, where they quote them for day. Resolution 1608 is about the Cameroons, where it involves the former Northern Cameroons and the former Southern Cameroons as well, not just the Southern Cameroons. Now, it don't explain them. It also go for talks a copy of the command paper number. This is a blah blah blah. It talk about this one now. They talk about Nigeria and all of that. I don't want to talk about Nigeria. Oh, now for here they get two annexes. They get Annex 1. You see this one for here. Now that one for there we talk. It said they don't attach the actual exchange of notes. That one it get to do Annex 1 get to do with the Southern Cameroons. Annex 2 they get to do now with the Northern Cameroons. Now Annex 2 that get to do with the Northern Cameroons. Now we'll go to page 2. My country people them. Now page 2 that when the Annex 1 we get to do now with the Southern Cameroons. Now see I'm now Annex 1 is say the actual exchange of notes between Her Majesty's ambassador at Yaoundé and the President of the Republic of Cameroon, recording the time and the date of the termination of the United Kingdom trusteeship in the Southern Cameroons. Trusteeship terminated.
So this one, nothing way all una don't forget sense. So one time my country people and all the other sorrows say, so God bless you. We'll continue to listen to this video.
The sovereignty of that territory was handed from the British to Yaoundé, to the President of the Federal Republic of Cameroon, or the La République du Cameroon, President Amadou Ahidjo. that territory never, ever, ever exercised sovereignty for 1 second. So, now the actual exchange of notes this, now the actual international agreement this. Any person where a one ever talk about the so-called Union Treaty, this is it. This is the actual Union Treaty. It will be signed in Yaoundé on the 27th of September 1961. The British Embassy in Yaoundé. Okay? The original document then are in French, obviously because Yaoundé. So, the British ambassador, because at that time Cameroon had not been a part of the Commonwealth, so they began an embassy, not a high commission. You get to understand that difference. So it became a British embassy for Yaoundé. The British ambassador, he talks with it. He say, "Sir," he talked to now for President Amadou Ahidjo. He says, "Sir, on the instructions of my government and in compliance with Resolution 1608 of the General Assembly of the United Nations, dated 21st April 1961, providing that the trusteeship exercised by the United Kingdom in the Southern Cameroons under the trusteeship agreement of 13 December 1946 shall be terminated on 1st of October 1961 upon the Southern Cameroons joining the Republic of Cameroon. I have the honor to inform you that this trusteeship will cease to be exercised in the Southern Cameroons at midnight on 30th of September 1961, as the territory will join the Republic of Cameroon at 0000 hours on the 1st of October 1961. I have the honor to be signer, Cecil King. The actual, I don't do my research. The actual ambassador, the British ambassador to Cameroon in Yaoundé at that time was known as Cecil King. Now, a real name that, on behalf of Her Majesty's government. Now, Her Majesty's ambassador. Now, he sent this document to who? To His Excellency, Mr. Amadou Ahidjo, President of the Republic of Cameroon, Yaoundé. Remember the date. 27th of September 1961. This is 3 days before the actual joining, before the actual termination of the trusteeship agreement. So, this is the actual exchange of notes. This is in international law. It is a treaty or it is an international agreement. You can call it exchange of letters or exchange of notes. Now, wait till be the reply from President Amadou Ahidjo. That one will go now for page 3 of this document. Now, page 3 talks about it. This one are the English version, but the original version will be now in French. The Republic of Cameroon. Yaoundé, 27th of September 1961. This one now President Amadou Ahidjo replying to the note or to the letter where the British ambassador write for you for give you sovereignty of that territory. Now President Amadou Ahidjo receiving that sovereignty by exchanging this letter, now replying to the British government in letter. President Amadou Ahidjo talks about it. He said, the President of the Republic. Now, it says, "Sir, I have the honor to acknowledge receipt of your letter of today's date in which you informed me as follows." He said, "On the instructions of the government and in compliance with Resolution 1608 of the General Assembly of the United Nations, dated 21st April 1961, providing that the trusteeship exercised by the United Kingdom in the Southern Cameroons under the trusteeship agreement of 13 December 1946 shall be terminated on 1st of October 1961 upon the Southern Cameroons joining the Republic of Cameroon. I have the honor to inform you that this trusteeship will cease to be exercised in the Southern Cameroons at midnight on the 30th of September 1961, as this territory will join the Republic of Cameroon at 0000 hours on the 1st of October 1961. And then I note that in accordance with the aforementioned resolution, the Southern Cameroons will join the Republic of Cameroon on 1st of October 1961, and that in consequence, the United Kingdom trusteeship over this territory will cease to be exercised at midnight on 30th of September 1961. Now, President Amadu Ahijo this talk now. He said, I have the honor to be signed Amadu Ahijo. He sent this letter now to His Excellency Mr. Cecil King, Her Majesty's Ambassador, Yaoundé. That is an official agreement. The exchange of notes has been completed. The British government has handed over the territory and Yaoundé has accepted the territory. And this agreement will go into force on the 1st of October 1961. This is the actual official exchange of notes. This is the actual official union treaty where they always ask for Naindis. The sovereignty of that territory was transferred to Yaoundé, to President Amadu Ahijo. Now, if we now want to continue for the read the document as I been explaining for now annex to this, and this time around they talk now about the Northern Cameroons joining the Federation of Nigeria. Now exactly the same thing. And now why that way? Anything where we want to talk concerning Resolution 1608, when I know say when they talk now about Cameroon and Nigeria. Breaking up Cameroon would automatically break up Nigeria. Remember that Resolution 1608, the trusteeship agreement, the Northern Cameroons and the British Cameroons, all of this get to do with Nigeria and Cameroon. Anything will happen for one country as far as Resolution 1608 be concerned. If I want to break up Cameroon, it go break up Nigeria. Remember that. So for people the way they want to see the Union Treaty, now in this, I don't show una. I don't do my part. Now our history this is our shared history. This is our shared heritage. There is no reason to lie about it. Let us learn from it. Let us understand it. And in order for we to learn and understand from it, we get to understand the when, the why, the where, the how, and most importantly, the what. So what happened? Where did it happen? When did it happen? Why did it happen? And who did it? When we understand all of these small questions, then we put them together in context, and then we go understand why the decisions, the way they will be taken at that time, they will be taken. We go understand who take the decisions then. We go understand how it affect we today, and we go learn better lessons from that, and then we go forge ahead with knowledge. We not go to lie about our history. Even the part of our history where it not be good, where we no like them, we still get to understand them. We still get to process them. We still get to understand and accept them. No point, no there for the lie about history because it no go change. The truth. Now say the former Southern Cameroon ceased to exist on the 30th of September 1961 at midnight and became West Cameroon, an integral part of the Republic of Cameroon today. That territory joined officially, legally. So any person where the worker talk about Union Treaty, I hope you don't get your answer. Any person where the worker talk say we not be ever join Cameroon or whatever, I hope so you don't get your answer. Any person where they talk about restoration or whatever nonsense, I hope so you don't get your answer. You cannot restore something that has never existed. You can restore federation, it's possible. You can restore the one and indivisible Cameroon way, it be being at the United Republic of Cameroon, it's possible. To restore the former trusteeship or go back to British rule, British administration is impossible. Not going to ever happen. And then the question of sovereignty, that territory has never exercised sovereignty for 1 second. So restoring sovereignty is not possible because you cannot restore something that has never, ever existed. My country people then.
Lesson number one. Lesson number one. This video where country people do am. Now God sending me do the video. When I always say, oh, I want to, oh, country people. That's what my country people have told people. I'll play the video when I wait. Very important.